Hi, it took me a while to get on here and discuss some things that's going on with me. One of those things being how growing up around narcissistic abuse has led to certain things within my life. And I had to get truthful and serious about a couple of things before discussing it or seeing it for what it was instead of what I wanted it to be. And I took time to just do some reflecting, do some help, do some encouragement. And I felt like by the time I reached 35 years old, I pretty much had conquered everything. I felt like I pretty much conquered everything. I felt like I fell in love with myself for the first time. I felt like I know fully who I am. And I wrote a book about it. But shortly after coming out with that book, Alive at 35, I kind of discussed growing up in a toxic, abusive environment and a little bit about how I was treated and how that affected my personality and certain other things within my life to make crazy decisions. I also talked about, you know, how common narcissistic abuse seems to be now. I feel like a lot of people just use those words. So I don't necessarily say narcissistic abuse. I say that they have those traits. Um, Even though a couple therapists have told me that that was the case, as well as tons of self-help programs. Um, I don't know, you just kind of gotta be frank with it because somebody could take those same things and label it to somebody's life. So by the time I was 36, I saw so many things in my life, and I feel like I have surpassed all of my karmic energy from family, from relationships, from friendships, all of that. And I felt like I was in a different period of my life. I feel like if people look at my social media, they just feel like I always was happy. No, like I chose happiness. That doesn't mean I had happy circumstances around me. But the way I chose to look at it was is something I'm so happy I learned to do. And I learned the importance of peace. And that's what I got in my situation. Um, I feel like everything that I went through in my past was God preparing me for my breast cancer. I'm a person who's been through things since I was a little girl. Um, So I'm the type of person who, since I was a little girl, I've been through so many things. And, that I just kind of normalized that. I normalized that in my life. And I knew I wanted better at a young age than everything that was around me. I saw a lot of like very dark things. As someone been shot at by a family member. It's just been a lot that's happened, and I didn't really talk about it. I talked about it with people who were close to me, but I was taught to not talk about it, so I didn't. And now I'm seeing the importance of everything that God has shown me during this breast cancer challenge of mine. I felt like I was finally at a point in my life where I can just like be me and be happy. And I was happy and I was glowing and I was getting things done faster than I ever have. Um, so I felt like that a lot of things were challenges. Yes, they were. And I felt like that was just God preparing me for my HER2 positive stage 4 breast cancer. So I had people in my life who would come to me and, some people would just feel like I've always been happy my entire life because that's just the energy I wanted to bring around other people and to show them something different than what they see out of their own eyes. And so I have people who felt like I just was a happy person all the time. And so they felt better by bringing certain things in my life that I didn't deserve. And it was crazy. It was just crazy. I feel like all of those things that brought tears to my eyes pretty much every day has led to me having an amazing story I want to share with as many people as possible. And I just don't feel ashamed to do so at this point in my life with everything that I had to have happened and everything that has gone on. I feel like it would be something that's needed. I feel like it's something that can help so many people along the way. And I feel like that it would be thought about way more often and learn from, or just so many different experiences from so many different people. So this is some of my story. I am going to share pieces and pieces of me, depending on whatever I'm going over that week with human becoming. And so everything that I have coming out from my breast cancer and from a different part of me that was inspired to do so comes out this year. Yes, I have reprogrammed my human development, which is known as life courses. I have added to it courses. I've written 2 books. I've came up with personal development items that help people like me doing what I'm doing. I'm so proud of everything that I have done. That's what I did during this time. I spent time with myself, and it wasn't a sad thing at all. I feel like we all going to experience alone time, and the way you choose to handle it and the way you choose to look at it and the way you choose to view. So depending on how you view life and how you experience things and the things you choose to see as important, you will look at all of this from different perspectives. That's just kind of what we do. And when I look at it, I try to look at it from solid, good eyes to where I see the positives in it, because that's just how my brain works. But if you're coming from a negative place in your life, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of the people in it, and you look at that very same situation, you may just see like everything opposite of what I see. So it just depends. And I feel like when you know where you at, you know how to move forward, you know how to do something about it, you know what to do from that point on. And I feel like and the crazy thing is, I love to talk. It's crazy. All of this is the starting point to just see where you're at in your life. And I'm a person who's done so many self-help programs and experienced so many things and have so many names from programs to me, and I just never talked about it. And I just allow people to assume whatever they want, and I can care less what they choose to continue to assume. But I feel like I have a son, and if something ever happens to me, I want him to know my story from me, an honest person who don't have any reason to lie. And so this week, I am just premiering my website, and I am premiering. So I have been working since before I was 10. Everything I did in high school, I paid for. We only thought the store JCPenney's existed because that's where we had to get all of our clothes from my mom. And there was a lot of marital issues with them growing up. And I'm a person who loves to talk. I'm a person who loves to ask questions. I'm a person who loves to understand what's going on. And I was taught to not ask questions. Whoever's older than me, that's who had the proper response, which I 100% respect in so many ways. But I don't respect it in ways where you really genuinely want to know to be better. And you want to have those conversations because that's what helps you have those conversations with other people. with other people. And growing up, you know, I saw my first murder at 10 years old, or below, probably way below that. Um, my behavior just didn't match my environment at all, and I 100% know that was God, because who else could it have been? And so He's the person who's the spirit, he's the reason for everything. And how you look at God, how you view Him, I feel like has to do with however you was raised, and you never questioned it. You just either went against it or you went with it. And I feel like with my situation, I was brought up in church. And so, growing up in church, I started off in Baptist, then Church of God in Christ. And I always asked questions because I didn't understand a lot of things, and it wasn't really explained to us the way it probably should have been explained to us. And so, with me asking those things and having their answers, but not an answer, it drove me crazy. It truly drove me crazy. And I wasn't in an environment where I could trust the people around me. So, the moment I moved to California, I started looking into everything I was dealing with at the time, and just learning about it for myself. And it's like certain people were brought into my life to show me certain things, to help me understand what I was going to need, and just to be. These things are important to me because of what I've been through, what I've experienced, what I've saw within this short period of my life, what have I experienced, in every single thing that I've made it through. And I've never had a mom or dad to show me. I never had that family, no matter how hard I wanted that at the time. It's just not something that I needed, and that's something that God was trying to show me for a very long time. Um, I feel like I came to that point and wrote my book, but I simmered down to a person that I didn't like. That was everyone around me. I got quiet. I started questioning everything.